Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Car Boss, where we talk about the business of automotive dealership. Welcome back, Commander.
Morning, Taj. Namaskar to everyone.
Commander, our discussion today is on selection of sales team leaders. The success of sales operation in a dealership hinges critically on the competency of its team leaders. How do we assess and select the best quality of team leaders?
I think if you recall one of our earlier episodes, I did mention that sales team leaders are the most critical and most impactful constituent of the team, the sales team in a dealership. In fact, if you have the best of team leaders, I think your job is done. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
But today, if you really look at the state of affairs of most of the dealerships, you find sales fluctuate a lot. They are not predictable, even with the best of times when you have the demands are good, or because of the fact that the team leaders are not delivering what they are supposed to deliver. Now, this happens simply because of the fact that the selection of team leaders is not done in a professional manner. Now, if you really look at dealerships, how do they get team leaders? Let's understand that first. Most of the team leaders are sales consultants who have been there in the system for a long time, 7, 8 years, or 10 years. And then the dealership feels, okay, this guy has been with us for so long, let's make him a team leader.
True.
That's one part. The second part is there are some outstanding, sales consultants who have been there for 5, 6 years or whatever. And then the dealership feels, okay, this guy is good. Let's make him a team leader. He is going to do a great job. Now, both these, avenues that you look at actually land up most of the times getting poor quality team leaders. But because we must understand, when we talk about an outstanding sales consultant, what does he bring on table? Basically, three things: good soft skills. Second is in terms of product knowledge, which is both yours and the competition. And the third is competence in carrying out the various processes in the right manner. These are the three parts they bring in to become a good sales consultant. Now, at the moment you move them from being a sales consultant to a team leader, the whole geometry changes, because being a team leader is not about being a good sales consultant. It's about being a good leader. So you may have an excellent, outstanding sales consultant, but a very poor leader. That's going to be catastrophic. And that's exactly what happens in dealerships. You make a good sales consultant in a very poor team leader because he doesn't really have the leadership confidence. Or you move somebody who has been a sales consultant for a long time thinking that he'll be a leader. Both fail. So what is important is how to select the team leaders in the right manner. And if you do that rightly, I think most of the problems in dealerships, as far as sales are concerned, I would think they'll get addressed. Now, in my opinion, from what we have done, is that we have a very simple process of identifying who could be a potential team leader. Now, we first look at someone who is an excellent sales consultant consistently for a long period of time. Could be 2 or 3 years. It's not necessary that he must be a sales consultant for 8 years, even 4, 5 years, even 3 years, if he's really been very consistent. But what we look at is once we identify sales consultants who are good performers, we normally have a chat with them. Ask them, do you want to move up to the next level of being a team leader? Now, you may say, why you want to do that? If he's a good consultant, take him on. Very surprisingly, I have come across consultants who say, sir, we don't want to become a team leader. I'm very happy being a sales consultant, earning good money. I have no headache. I don't want to take extra responsibilities. Period. Yeah, period. If you try and make such a guy into a team leader, it's a disaster. You're losing a good sales consultant and making a poor team leader.
True.
So I think that's the first screening that you do. You select the guys who are willing to move. Once that is done, what we do is we elevate these selected sales consultants to what we call assistant team leaders or ATLs. Now, what is an ATL? Basically, he's a sales consultant, also doing the little bit of job of a team leader. So he continues to have his target for the month. In addition to that, we give him the responsibility of tutoring to junior consultants. Now, these would be people with less than 1 year of experience, people who are not doing great, who has a potential, who will probably move up if they get the right kind of mentoring. So one or two of these guys are put under the watch of this ATL. But he must be briefed. He must be briefed on how to take these guys along, in the sense how they should be interacting with them, what is the area of help they should be giving them, how much of interaction they need to do, monitoring, the kind of patience that you need to exercise with them. All this needs to be briefed to them so that they have a fairly idea of what they should do. Once that is done, these guys take this to one or two sales consultants and start functioning, where they will help them to meet customers, they will go with them for test drives, they will help them to close cases where they find it difficulties. They also train them up wherever they find they are weak. Now, this process will continue for 3 months. Now, during these 3 months, this ATL should also be paid some extra money as an incentive, as a bonus, because he is definitely going to spending a lot of his time, away from his personal sales to looking after people. So that's something that we must do, so that he doesn't get disheartened that, look, I'm losing my money trying to help somebody else.
Right.
Now, at the end of every month, we must evaluate and carry out a review of his performance on a very prescribed format. Looking at a few things, not too many things, looking at how is he, in terms of interaction with his, in his juniors, how is he in terms of his patience, his knowledge, his, his ability to, train them, his, his persistence of trying to improve these guys. So all these are noted down, and then you also get a feedback from the trainees on the ATL.
Great.
And you have a joint, not with the consultant, but with the team, the ATL, to find out where he's going wrong, tell him where he's going wrong, what he needs to do, also get his views on the sales consultant of how they're performing, etc., from his point of view. Now, this is done every month for 3 months. Now, normally, I would think 50 to 60% of these team ATLs would qualify to become a team leader, and sometimes even better. So once you find at the end of the 3 months, the review has been done, first, second, and third month, then you see if he's performing well, you feel he's competent in all these parameters that you have, assessed him, then move him up to become a team leader in due course, whenever there's a vacancy falls. Now, in case you find there are certain discrepancies or certain deficiencies that he has, counsel him, give him maybe 1 month, 2 months extra, let him try his best. Now, at the end of this extra 2 months, he still doesn't perform. My suggestion is, don't elevate him, because you're going to do a wrong thing, because that guy is not going to perform well as a team leader. He will finally, at the end of the day, lose his interest in selling cars, and then he becomes the team leader. He fails in both the things. You're losing a good guy. So I think you must be very clear that under no circumstances should someone be elevated if you find that he has not meeting the criteria that you have set. And I can tell you one thing, people who finally match or exceed the criteria and become team leaders, in my understanding, my experience, people have done exceedingly well. So I think the way forward for dealerships is to find good team leaders using this, this selection process of assistant team leaders and taking them forward. This is probably the best. And I'm sure if you do this, you will have wonderful team leaders and your sales objectives will be met without any problems.
So there you have the answer, everyone, on selection of sales leaders. Stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you, Taj.